All right, everybody, behind the sermon, you know the drill. Sean and Steve, we're in the studio, and we're still somehow in Ephesians, but I'm loving it. Verse by verse.
Still somehow.
Passage by, hey, the Lord willing, we'll continue and finish
It's
Ephesians.
going to be a little longer yet, yeah.
So you were preaching on wives, and I think you finished on that. Is there something new that's coming up?
Yeah, so let's peek into the next, because this is actually not I didn't notice what you said. Did you call this behind the sermon?
Oh.
This is actually
before the sermon.
Okay.
And so let's hear what's coming up this next Sunday.
Here's what's coming up. So hopefully we're going to get to husbands, love your wives. And then there's a whole rich section on husbands. All you wives, get your man there, get him there to listen to it. It'll help him. It'll hopefully make him a better man and a better husband. But what I'm going to do before we get there, I mentioned this in a BTS week ago, but I'll mention it again. We're going to go back to Genesis, where we see that here's how God created the woman, and by virtue of creation, here's what she'll want for a marriage. But then she's also fallen, and by virtue of her fall, here's what she'll do to a marriage. Here's the challenge she'll bring into the marriage. And God created a man, and by creation, here's what he'll want for a marriage, and those are good things too. But then by virtue of the fall, here are things he'll bring into the marriage that aren't so healthy for it. And so we're going to look at how those things create conflicts and whatnot in marriage. I think it's really helpful to see this from God's Word. So we want to start there, but then I'm pretty sure I'll have enough time to actually get to husbands. So husbands, your wives are under your headship. God says you are the head. So the goodness of the marriage and blessing and joy in her life depend on you being a good, beneficent, I'll use that word again, a wise, a principled husband. The way you lead that home affects your wife, your kids, your grandkids. So, man, we really want to work on being solid, biblical husbands, principled husbands. Speaking of which, you're engaged. You're about to become one. So when you and Stephanie are sitting there listening to this, what are you thinking? Are you like, hey, is she nudging you? Make sure you get that.
Make sure that. She's going to make sure I'm there. But she listened to your sermons on being a wife, future wife in her case. And yeah, I think it's so easy for us to just kind of be pulled by the culture and do marriage the way that we see everybody else doing it. But the way that the Bible describes the biblical marriage, it's so radical. It's so different from whatever else is going around.
And the world they have their own creation story. It's naturalism. And out of that flows their own story about marriage. It can be whatever we want to make it. And they're trying to make it all kinds of things. And it's hopeful that out of the destruction of the chaos of that, some of them will come to us and say, help me to fix this. And we can. We're out of time.
And we need the Bible to do that. All right, Steve, I'll see you next week.
See you.